Hello, and welcome to the Unit 4, Lesson 3, I Do. Today we'll be comparing and contrasting using the RACES method of response. We'll also be using signal words to connect multiple citations in RACES response. So this time around we're going to do it a little different, and you're going to have two citations or two pieces of evidence that you have to link together using those signal words we've been talking about. So the learning goal for today is to be able to say, I can use the text to compare and contrast two things. I can use the text to support my thesis. Now remember, a thesis is your statement about your own ideas or your own reading, right? It comes from you, it answers the question, but it's a statement from your thoughts. All right. So first we need to be able to connect two pieces of evidence together, right? We can do this contrastingly or comparatively. Now I'm going to take this first piece of evidence or this first idea, and I'm going to connect it to one of these two, right? So I'm going to say nuclear energy is clean energy source that could replace fossil fuels, comma. Now I'm going to connect it to this first one. Nuclear energy has a problem with where to store and use nuclear fossils. Okay, so the first one is positive about nuclear energy, and this one says it has a problem, so I'm going to assume that's contrasting because they're different. So I'm going to pick out a contrasting one. I'm going to say but looks good, right? But nuclear energy has a problem with where to store, use nuclear materials. Bam, done. Wrote a contrasting sentence connecting two ideas using a contrasting signal word. And I can do the same thing with compare. Nuclear energy is a clean energy source that could replace fossil fuels. And now I have to pick out one of these. I like as well as nuclear energy already provides most of the clean energy we already have. See, those are two positive things about nuclear energy, so we're comparing them. They're two good things. Compare, similar. All right. And that's just how you use those words to connect two ideas, right? So, are you ready for writing? I hope so. Here is our prompt. Prompt, what is the best solution to climate change? So as we read, we're going to read two articles because we're using two texts. And as we read, we want to think, what is the best solution to climate change? So I'm going to read through these for some facts, and then I'm going to put them into our chart. As you can see, I've already started our chart, right? So this first text, it talks a lot about tech against greenhouse gases, agriculture equals high greenhouse gases, food, feed cows red seaweed, right? Those are all these different things. It really focuses on reducing greenhouse gases. Hope if I could type today. Right. Well, this one talks about teenagers with ideas on climate change, right? About plant more trees, using machines to remove CO2. Over here, it also talks down here about focusing on corporations. So, you know, we're doing just like we've always done. We're reading through a text. We're extracting ideas first. So it also talks about taxing corporations that pollute. Right. So some differences. This talks about CO2. This talks mostly about methane. This is about reducing production. Or this one is more about sort of capturing what's already there, right? So then to write an answer, I want to sort of combine all of these ideas. So I'm going to say, what is the best solution to climate change? The best solution, let's see, to both reduce the amount of greenhouse gases and remove most of them from the air. Right? That sort of combines both these ideas into a whole. So now we're going to use the RACES response method to answer our prompt, right? Can anyone tell me what that is? Right, it's to recite the question as a statement, answer the question, cite evidence, explain the evidence, and summarize. Right? Okay, so I've started out here. I've already recited this. The best solution to climate change is, all I did was remove the question word and move the verb to the end. The best solution to climate change, move that over to climate change, is, right? And then I put an answer on there, and that answer kind of comes from right here. I take this answer and I turn it into answer to reduce the production of greenhouse gases and remove what is already being produced from the air. Now, for evidence, I need to tell you which article my evidence is coming from. And to do that, when I do my accord statements, I'm going to say according to an article from, and the first one is, I believe, yes, Sky News. See how I did that? From Sky News. And then I'm just going to find a piece of evidence, right? I like this one. Agriculture accounted for roughly, right? Oh, actually, let's get this one. Another significant greenhouse gas is methane. That really supports sort of what we're talking about here, and needing to reduce what's going in. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to say according to an article from, and this time I'm taking it from here, so I need Science News as my citation. Science News. And so normally we just say the text or an article, but here we have to name the article because we're using two different articles, right? And I want to pull some information from here, and I really like this one right here where it says plants can suck CO2 out of the air, but we can also develop technologies to do this. That's a really good one. Oops, wrong chart. It didn't copy. Try again. We all make mistakes. It's all okay as long as we learn from them. There it goes. All right, excellent. Now I need to explain those pieces of evidence. So some people believe reduction is best, while others believe a removal is best, right? However, I think we should do both, right? Summary, both removal and reduction. And really, that's just, we're explaining both pieces of evidence here in our own words more simply, and then here we're sort of restating our answer, right? So then when we get to here, when we put it all together, we have to do this sort of a special way. And so we're going to say the best solution to climate change is to reduce the production of greenhouse gases and remove what is already being produced from the air. And now, so I already have this copy and pasted, and so now I got to take this, and the first one I can just copy and paste straight out, right? I can just put it right there. Boom. Good to go. That's fine. But on the next one, and I have to link them together. And to link them together, I need to use one of those signal words. Now, these are contrasting. One is about reduction, the other is about removal. So I need a contrasting signal word, right? And so I'm going to say, however, or in contrast to, or I could say, but, and then try to do that. Weird. But there it goes. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and just highlight that but for you. You see that signal word in there? All right, excellent. Now we have both those ideas linked, sort of just like we did earlier, right? And then finally, we just put the summary there. I even used a contrasting signal word in my summary, right? To sort of contrast it to the idea that people sometimes fight about those things. What is the best solution, right? And so now we have both those things in there, and we put it all together into one response, even though we have two things. And the real big thing here is to make sure you're saying according to, and then like where the article came from, or you can say who wrote it, or anything of that nature. All right, congratulations, you finished your I do for Unit 4 Lesson 3, and now it is time to move on to the Unit 4 Lesson 3 You Do. Good luck.